This is lesson 2.7, the partial sums algorithm. This is the parent help video for grade 3 everyday math. So what we're going to look at, we have a few vocabulary words, and it's the partial sums algorithm and partial sums method, and I'm going to show you what those are today so that you know what your kids are talking about when they bring them home to you. So the partial sums algorithm is like this. So if we're going to add, let's say 469 plus 324. This is how this algorithm works. You add up the different parts first. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to say, well, I know that this 4, it's not actually a 4, it means 400, because this is 469. So I'm going to say 400 plus 300. Okay, 400 plus 300. So then I'm done with my hundreds. Kind of don't even have to think about those anymore. Alright, and then I'm going to say this 6 and this 2, I'll do these next. But this is not 6 and 2, this is actually 60, because it's 469, plus 20, okay, because it's 324. So I'm going to say 60 plus 20. Alright, so 60 plus 20 for the next one. I can be done with those. And then finally I do my ones place, which is indeed 9 plus 4. It's not like 900 plus 400, it's 9 plus 4. I have 9 plus 4. Okay, and then what I do is I add these up. So I say, well, 300 plus 400, that equals 700. And then I say, well, 60 plus 20, that equals 80. And then I say 9 plus 4, that equals 13. Okay, and then I add these ones together, okay, that I get over here. So I have 700 plus 80, that's 780, plus 13, that's 793. Okay, so 793 is the answer, and that's using the partial sums algorithm. So you take it by each place value, okay, you take it by your hundreds, then you do your tens, you do your ones, alright, and it will work. And I can show you if I do it with a traditional algorithm, a traditional way of adding. If I do 469 plus 324, it will work out the same. 9 plus 4 is 3, carry the 1. 6 plus 2 is 8, plus 1 is 9. 4 plus 3 is 7. And look, we get the same answer. Okay, so actually it doesn't really matter which algorithm you use, but we just expose the kids to a number of different ways of doing it, a number of different methods, a number of different algorithms, okay, so they can choose which one works best for them. So this is the partial sums algorithm where you add by the place value. The partial sums method is just what I demonstrated here. And ballpark estimate is the other vocabulary word that we have. And a ballpark estimate is basically rounding and then adding after you round. So I could just add a ballpark estimate for this. I would say, well, 469 is really close to 470, 324 is really close to 320, and then you would add those up that way and say, well, that's 790. And 790 would be your ballpark estimate. Okay, it's just estimating, and then that is very close to 793, so you can check that and be happy with the result. Okay, as far as what we want kids to know, we want them to be able to model multi-digit numbers with base 10 blocks. So we have these base 10 blocks here. One of these flats equals 100. So let's just say the kids were adding 100 plus 100, I did 25. Alright, so they'd add 100 plus 100, and then these longs each equal 10. So 10, 20, and then these little ones here, these just equal 1. Alright, so 100 plus 125. And the kids would then count, well, that's 100, 225. 225. So we want them to be able to use these base 10 blocks to do a model of an addition problem, because sometimes it's good for kids to pick up their addition and move it around. It's a great way for them to do that. We also want them to be able to use these base 10 blocks to add, like using the partial sums algorithm. So if the number is, we'll say let's say 200 let's say 225 plus, we're going to say 84 maybe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oops, nope, not 90. 84. Okay, actually, let's say 286. All right. So these are the numbers that the kids have to get together here. And so it's using the partial sums algorithm, it's easier to see, oh, okay, look, I can just put all my tens together, put all my ones together, keep all my hundreds together, and then I count them. 100, 200, and then 10 of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's 300. Okay, and then 300, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 311. Okay, so the answer to the problem would be 311. If they demonstrate it, then all they have to do is put the same parts together, the flats and the longs, and then the single units together, and then just count them. Okay, so base 10 blocks are great for modeling addition problems, but if you hear your kids talking about base 10 blocks and that they added with them, or they did, they did other math problems with them, this is what they're talking about, and this is kind of how they're used to give you an idea. Also, we want kids to learn how to make these sorts of ballpark estimates that we just talked about. Sometimes these are tricky for kids, and we go from having them round down and up to the hundreds to down and up to the tens place, which we'd really like to see them be able to do to the tens place. This is what I did here to the tens place. If they had gone to the hundreds, they would have said 500 plus 300, okay, and they would have gotten 800, which is also close to 793. So that would have been acceptable too. But we accept either to the tens or to the hundreds place for the rounding and getting an estimate out of that. So those are the skills we want. As far as how you can help with this at home, please just have kids, adding whenever possible. If you guys go shopping together, think of it as money, rounding up, rounding down. Ask them, do you think we have enough money for this? Have them make an estimate. Although in the case of shopping, I always tell kids it's better to round up, because then the worst thing would be you get there and you would at least have enough money. Okay, you might have a little extra money. But if you round down when you're shopping, then you might end up short. Okay, the general rule in math is if it's 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9, we round up. We estimate up. Okay, if it ends in one of those digits. If it ends in a 1, 2, 3, or 4, we round down. Okay, we estimate down. So that's just kind of a rule of thumb that we still go by. All right, so this is lesson 2.7, the partial sums algorithm for grade 3 everyday math.